Hello everyone, this is Bethlehem Atfield. Welcome to the podcast Journey to Ethiopia with a Story. Mulugeta Lebacho is an aspiring writer based in Addis Ababa. He's best known for his debut collection of short stories titled Maharabinya Yachu, published in 2017. He occasionally contributes articles about Ethiopian literature, translated short stories and book reviews to journals and magazines. Currently, he works in communications and public relations. Today, I'll read an excerpt from his short story, Velesalba Gennet, which I co-translated with him. Heaven without prickly pears. The town of Gennete, which literally means my heaven, has turned into some kind of a delicacy. Masterfully cooked by chefs in the kitchen of time, a kind of roasted Afar goat ribs with a dollop of Arabian honey, a sprinkle of Ramifa salt, served with tigrinya bread on Amharic plates and to be eaten with forks like the Italians. The name of the town has changed several times. Names that originated from numerous languages, Gennete, Yaju, Weldia, this last one given by the Oromos who came from Finfinne and beyond, fathers and grandfathers of Opowolo, who knew that it is a place where everything intersects. Thus the town coyly smiles, hiding her mosaic tattoo of more than a dozen languages and myriads of culture. Her girth stretched from Gondarbur to Debre Galila, the highway that goes parallel to River Shili. Her torso is a tributary of the Urwaha. From Debre Galila to Tumpas, the narrow tarmac road built by Italy marks her elbows darkened by tar instead of the moisturizing petroleum jelly. From Defarge to Mugad are her pair of legs that she spreads for every transient master she serves. Mugad, the market village founded by Arabs, is her patched hip pocket, and in the center, like her loins, is my fascinating neighborhood Yeljugennet, coined from two of the town's old names. If I were to be blindfolded with a dark veil and dropped at the center of this village, I would identify my childhood friends by their footsteps, and I would greet and chit-chat with them. How's it going, Sarega? Have you painted anyone yet? I would recognize Howlett, Haji Indris's daughter, who never denied me food whenever she saw me yawning from hunger, and I would say, "May God give you more, Howletwa." When I come across residents of the village who choose to perceive me either as eccentric or mad, I would ramble on the little gears I remember from childhood studies to become a deacon. Sibu ya abi emena arawit wa ensasat. And when I walk past them, their pity would make me laugh, and I would say, "Oh, beautiful daughters of Gennete, do not weep for me, weep for yourselves." When people are in need of a coolie and they call out for one, using the term that lingers from the times of the socialist regime, proletariat, proletariat, I would humbly comply. Blindfolded as I were, I would guide blind people who went off track and in return get their blessings. May you be spared from days of affliction. May you be delivered from having to pay penalties, son, they would say. Without exaggeration, I would gate home or the ulaga tree near Ida's bakery, my usual spot, without a hitch, my hands in my pockets, and a carefree whistle of a Rikum Zameda tune on my lips. This town bears my fondest memories, life vividly lived and lessons well learned. My yesterdays, todays, and predictable tomorrows lay on the streets. When I say home, I do not mean my humble abode amongst the state-owned houses. My door, with all the holes and crannies it bears, cannot serve me as a boundary. My home includes the highway. My home does not exclude the other homes. My home comprises the entire neighborhood. My home is my town. In this town, I remember us collecting wisdom like pebbles of alleyways amongst houses fenced with bush, or wood, or concrete, or aluminium sheets, or those left unfenced. I recall learning trust and betrayal, belongingness and identity, us and them. Driven by adolescent adrenaline, charged by bigotry, we formed factions and fought only to be beaten up by those whom we looked down on as only the entourage of heroic men, and at other times beat them up. At the games of Buhe, we tied blades to the poppers of our whips and cut skins of our peers from Gupalafto and celebrate the victory as if they were not our own people. We were oblivious of the fact that the blood covering their faces was our own, ignorant of the fact that it was like biting our tongue with our own teeth. In this village where we swore to each other, "May I perish at the blossom of my youth," words which shock the elders, we must have sworn in falsehood, for I see now our flowers have indeed dried, and we're left fruitless. And I guess all the blessings bestowed on us, like, "May you be spared from times of affliction," "May you be delivered from paying penalties," were perhaps insincere. Once my mother, may she rest in peace, started building a house near Kipikalo. She used to make us collect stones for the foundation. The unfinished house is still there. Rascals shit among the slabs. Our first attempt at embezzlement started here by picking up the first stone. Our progress from stealing public pebbles to snatching public pennies showed our speedy transition from the Stone Age to the Bronze Age. So, hey, handsome, didn't our flowers fall prematurely? After I dropped out of college and returned home, I went out to take a lungful of that hometown breath I miss so much. In the village square, I met my childhood friends intently drawing family trees and working out ethnic backgrounds of people as if they worked for the cartography agency and it was their task to draw boundaries. I ran away from them trying in vain to cover my naked heart, a heart busy with the hope of wearing their love. They laughed at my naked heart. They told me that there is a much thicker blood than the one we snatched, fried, and ate when a sacrificial white lamb was slaughtered for the benevolent spirit at Gimbotlideta when we were younger. I was told there is a stronger bond than the pair of sheep balls that we fried on the embers of an open fire and enjoyed eating. The prickly pears we delicately peeled and fed each other, the sap we sucked from the trees. I still shake my head in bewilderment. Aren't we on the brink of throwing ourselves into a cliff as a penalty we couldn't evade? Where is the blessing that spares us from the days of affliction? I never knew who was Tigray and who was Eritrean until my dearest childhood friend Bezabe Habtaab left the country with his father. But when Miss Haddas came back from Masawa, and when Meretta's aunt, Miss Mazenge, along with her impish son Iosias, were expelled from the country and fled to Asmara, and those who bribed officials and those who played little games of nepotism remained here, beneath the Olaga tree, under its pudgy shade, I learned of important things along with irrelevant ones that I didn't want to know about. My memories, like injera, are sour and addictively good. What is this thing that makes you forget that you are a human being? What kind of knife cuts the bonds of brotherhood? It must be one sharpened by a devil, a political devil. Thank you for listening. Please read the discussion points under the description of this episode. We would like to hear your views on these points and any other observation you may have. If you'd like to listen to more stories as soon as they are released, please subscribe to this channel. Until the next story, goodbye.